Okay, next year,
Yeah,
which team finishes with a higher record, Tampa Bay or New England?
Tampa Bay. What do you think?
Okay. Here's what I think. I think Tampa Bay will have a better roster. I think they'll
Okay.
have a better team. I think they will finish with a worse record.
All right, interesting.
I
So,
think is especially if the beginning of the season is like shortened. I
right,
think good coaching is going to matter a lot. I
right,
think Belichick is still going to be able to squeeze a lot of wins out of his team, and I think he's going to have a lot of like cupcake divisional matchups. Like he's going to have 4, 5, 6 wins in the division, and so like 10, 11 wins overall. Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay is has a maybe a tough division. Like the Panthers don't look good, but he's got 2 games against Drew Brees each year, and then 2 games against Matt Ryan each year. Who like maybe the Falcons will look up next year. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. The NFC South is like teams that we thought were going to be good this year and were bad. So it's
right,
just hard to know if they like actually are bad or if it was just like a blip of badness.
right,
Because the Falcons finished last year pretty hot. But anyway, I
right.
think that like the Bucs probably are going to have a tougher schedule this year, and it's going to be more of an adjustment for them than for the Pats. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I see the Pats sneaking like 10, 11, 12 wins, and the Bucs coming in right behind that, fighting for a wild card spot in the NFC.
Okay, so I here's my reason for Tampa Bay doing better. So I think the strongest argument on behalf of New England is the thing you said of like it's a shortened off season. So like that means two things. That means one, like Tampa or Tom Brady won't be able to develop new chemistry with his new offensive weapons. So that is tough. Um but it also means that whoever New England's quarterback is won't be able to do that, which I think is meaningful and is not to be overlooked. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but all right, so here are their schedules. Tampa Bay plays Atlanta twice. It plays Carolina twice. It plays New Orleans twice. So I said that they will win 4 games there because I presume they'll go 1-1 with 2 of those and 2-0 against one of them. So I think does that make sense? They'll go one
Wait,
and
wait.
one with like New
Yeah,
Orleans, let's say,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and then maybe one and one against Atlanta, maybe 1-1 against Carolina, but they'll probably get 3 wins between Atlanta and
Okay,
Carolina. So that's
okay.
4. And then they play Chicago, Denver, and Detroit. I have them winning all 3 of those games.
Sure. Yeah.
They play the Giants. They play. I have them written down as Oakland. They play the Raiders.
Okay.
So that's 2 more. They play Green Bay, who I just decided they would lose against.
Yeah.
Uh, they play Minnesota, who I decided they would win against. I figure between Green Bay and Minnesota, they'll go 1-1 probably.
Okay.
And then they play Kansas City, the LA Chargers, and the LA Rams. And I have them beating the LA Rams, losing to the Chargers, or sorry, losing to the Chiefs, and then I have them losing to the Chargers here. So I'm like, I've given them a loss that they won't necessarily get, and that puts them at 11-5. So that's like a pretty good record.
Yeah, I think with one thing with the Tampa Bay Bucks is that they are like a true, not in the playoff sense, but just in the result sense, they are a wild card team in
Right.
that they will like come out and like beat the Saints 52-30 and then the next week like roll over and lose to like the Jets or whatever.
Wait, the
Like
Bucks will or the Falcons? Do you mean the
the
Falcons?
Bucks, the Bucks.
But we don't know about the Bucks now, because that was true last year with Jameis under center. Now we have a steadying hand under center, and
That's
it's
true.
like
That's
it's
true.
a steadying hand. So like last year they were the third highest scoring offense overall,
Right.
and it's like they might go down a little bit because Tom Brady isn't Jameis and isn't just gonna be fucking like whipping the ball everywhere, but. They also had a top 5 defense in terms of DVOA. Like their
Right.
defense ended up being really dope. They're getting, I think, almost all those defensive pieces back. Some of them were really young, so they're going to be 1 year older with Todd Bowles, their coordinator, 2 years in a row. I think Tampa Bay might low-key be really good. I think this year might be Tampa Bay's peak for the next couple years, and it might be really good. Like, it reminds me of what Peyton walked into in 2013,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think that was actually the best version of Peyton on the Broncos as far as like the overall team. I think that was our best team, and we just happened to lose that game to the Ravens, and if we didn't lose that, I think we win the Super Bowl. And it's like we
Yeah.
lost that on like a 50-50 play.
Right.
I think this is pretty similar to that. Like he walks in, he has Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, OJ Howard. Rojo at running back is like honestly is pretty reminiscent of his New England like pass catching quick running backs. Bruce Arians is a good offensive head coach. I think Todd Bowles is good. I think they're going to be good. And then you look at New England, and it's like they play Buffalo and Miami twice. I say they split both of those. So that's 2-2. They play the Jets twice. I say they win both of those games. So that's 4 wins too. 4 in the division, just like Tampa Bay. But then they play Houston, Kansas City, the LA Chargers, the LA Rams, Denver, the Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders, Arizona, San Francisco, Baltimore, and Seattle. Like they play a much harder schedule.
Okay.
Seattle, Baltimore, and San Francisco, I have them losing all of those. I have them winning Arizona, but they could totally lose that too. Like Arizona might be a really good team this year.
Right.
I have them beating the Raiders, the Broncos, the Rams, and the Chargers, but they could totally lose 1 or 2 of those games. And so like I have them I predicted a lot of wins, and I still only have them at 9-7. So I think there's like a very real chance that they have like a down year, even though like they are probably going to be fine in 2 to 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the game by game breakdown that you put to it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I agree. I think that the Bucs are going to be like really good going into next year. I think what might happen is they might end up being like the 5 seed in the NFC, and it's a 5 seed that teams are scared of. That like they're going to be better than the worst division winner.
Right.
And like they're going to get better as the year goes on.
Right.
And come in. I still think that like the grudge and competitive edge of Sean Payton and Drew Brees together is in my mind a favorite to win the division over the Bucs. But another thing that like, I mean, this is the year to break from it. But I've always said like, let's not count the Patriots out until they are counted out. That like people have been saying for 6 years that Tom Brady's over the hill and that this is going to be the year the wheels fall off and stuff. And so, like, I mean, they don't have Tom Brady anymore, so it's like a clear downgrade at that position. But, like, Bill Belichick is the best football coach in the history of the game.
Right.
I'm not going to bet against him. I'm going to see what he does next year and then go from there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the thing I'm most excited for this year is to figure out what the hell the Pats are going to be. Like, there are so many options that I could see happening.
Yeah.
It would not shock me if they traded up and took like Tua or something. If they just were like, yeah, we have 4 picks in the top 100. Screw it, we're using them all. We're moving up. We're getting Tua. We're moving forward.
That's funny.
So I don't know. I think there is a world in which we're talking about this again in August, and I have a different opinion. But it's like with their rosters as of now, it's like New England had a bad offense and they had Tom Brady, and I don't think Tom Brady was the reason for their bad offense. I think like Belichick has failed miserably to surround him with talent for several years in a row, and I think I just don't think they're necessarily going to be totally able to turn that around just like that, you know? Like, they do have 4 picks in the top 100. They don't have a second-round pick, but they have 23 in the first and then, like, 3 in the third that are all before 100. And, like, this is a pretty deep wide receiver class, so, like, who knows? Maybe at, like, 23, he takes that kid out of Baylor and then takes, like, 2 more in the third round. And suddenly they have a dynamic offense. But it's, like...
a 2 QB offense. Do it, Bill. It's the future.
I'd say, yeah, bring in 2 QBs, baby. I want it. But yeah, I don't know. I think in 2 years, New England will be back on top. I don't know that they will be on top immediately this year.
Yeah. I had our graphics department do one thing. Another graph, you know, when I look at this, I interpret it as sort of favoring the New England side. But, you know, there's obviously a lot of ways to interpret statistics. But Here's what the graphics department came up with.
Yeah,
Here you can see Tom Brady still old.
Yeah.
So
It's
but
important to keep that in mind.
Some people say QB age is more of a team stat than anything, so it's hard to really pin that on the quarterback.
Yeah.
All right.